we should have investigated more before we let this farm go through. I thank you for listening to me, and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dickey. Anyone else like to speak under public delegations? I can't see. Luann. I see your arm, I didn't see your face.
Luann Lang, 160 Pennsylvania Avenue. I came tonight to speak about the historic properties study, and I didn't know this was about to happen. So I do think that I might be able to add a couple of things. One is that because of the Tinker House, we were very interested in what was happening on that property. And the Siting Council does have special jurisdiction over certain kinds of things over which the town has nothing that they can do about. And so I think it's important that the public understand that. I'm not saying it to justify anything, I'm just saying that is one of the things that happens. So I would like to speak a little bit about information about the Tinker House. In the original approval for the property development, the Tinker House was to be renovated, and we have been in contact with Mr. Landino more even recently about the future of the Tinker House. And unless something's happened since Monday, there is no demolition permit done. And we have been in contact with him and his group to see about how the Tinker House moves forward. The approval allowed it to be basically maintained on the outside within a completely new inside. That is what the approval allowed. So it is looking at what indeed might happen now with the parts of the Tinker House. So he and his organization is looking at how some of this might indeed be passed on through the historical properties environment to use some of the pieces, because there are some very interesting and hard to replace old boards, paneling, and so on and so forth. So to bring people up to date on the fact is the Tinker House does has a different plot line. The Historic Properties Commission has spoken about it, has been in contact with Mr. Landino, and we're looking at, in the next few weeks, after what we're told is a closing that will take place, then he will be moving forward to do something about the Tinker House. According to the approval, the original approval, it has to be redone on the original location, so that does mean on the foundation. The Siting Council report, by the way, did, at the one time Mr. Landino and the group had planned on going up past the Tinker House with a road access. The Siting Council said that he could not do that, and so and he could not use the property at 65 Walnut Hill Road either as the road into the property. He had to go in, by the Siting Council request, to go in Grassy Hill. I don't know what caused that, but that is what turned out in the Siting Council. So now, what I'm here about originally is the Samuel Smith report. A month ago, the Board of Selectmen had the Historic Properties Commission approved to do a study on the Samuel Smith house. That report is ready to go forward. We have sent a draft of the materials that we had received and gotten throughout the 3 years we worked on the Samuel Smith project, and we sent that up to Hartford to get an initial reaction. We have gotten the materials back. Everything is fine to go. We have a draft of an ordinance, thank you, to go with it, and so this will now be sent with a cover letter this week to the Zoning Commission, the Planning Commission, a copy to you all, and a copy up to the State Historic Preservation Office. This is to bring you up to date to know that we are moving forward. After that time, there is a certain time to reply. If someone does not reply, like I think it's 65 days, then it automatically is approved. We see no problem with it. We have all the documentation for the age of the house and the condition of the house. And so we just wanted to let you know that it is going forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak under public delegation? Mr. Schultz?
Evening, Mike Schultz, 14 Lovers Lane, East Lyme.
Good evening, sir.
I'm really glad I came tonight because this solar business, I got a call from a solar company today. They're interested in installing solar system on my house for free. Oh, yeah, for free. And so I'll end up saying, well, I'll play along. Let's see how this goes. And I'm going to meet with the people tomorrow in any event. And but there's a lot of information here that I can put away in my pocket for sure. This really sounds the situation like it needs to have a cease and desist somehow. I don't know how you do that against the state, but we need to really stop this nonsense and find out where it's going, and you just have to wonder, where was this information before? Is it all from the hindsight? Is it all the after effect of the beginning of a project? Is this typical? It's horrible to hear this. I don't know what the other side is. There usually is another side, but I'm hoping that we can bring somebody in here to talk about the other side, if there is one, and before we go further with this, because this is not the first problem that's come up in Walnut Hill, for sure. So I feel sorry for them. Secondly, I'd like to talk about water leaks. I wanted to thank the town, the Water and Sewer Commission, for repairing a leak at my residence. Apparently the leak has existed for better than a month, at least that long. Turned out it wasn't that big of a hole, about maybe a size of a pencil. It was streaming out, so it never broke. It never broke surface. I never saw it flowing out anywhere. But I heard this. I mean, it had nothing running in the house, but I could hear water flow, and I could hear. And that pinhole leak was at least 50 feet from my house, and I could hear it inside my house, anywhere from 15 to 20 feet away from where the water comes into my house. And so, being out of town and stuff a lot, I didn't have an opportunity to chase this down, but I finally did. I just shut the water off completely to the house, and I could still hear the flow. So at that point I thought, well, geez, maybe this leak is between, I mean, it had to be between my house and the water main, which of course would be my cost if the burden fell between the isolation valve and my house. Well, it didn't. Apparently at the water main there's an isolation, and then there's a curb shut off. I apparently, 5 or 10 or however many feet away from there, and it was between that valve and the main water main. But still, even when I closed the wall off my house, it was very noticeable that there was a leak. And I have to believe that these leaks are existing in many other places. And I mean, the water meter doesn't spin around because the water's shut off, and yet you can still hear water running. You got a leak. So, but I thank the town for I came down to the town hall and reported it, and they were out that afternoon, determined where the leak was approximately, and within another week, or I guess another couple weeks, it was repaired. Vacations and stuff, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schultz. Anybody else like to speak under public delegations? Okay. Before we get into the approval of minutes, I will just like to say to the folks up there regarding the solar panel that I did go up and visit today and drive around and begin first knowledge. I asked Mr. Scheer to collect some names so that we can have a meeting up there and kind of discuss and see firsthand each individual property. I would like to be able to arrange that. And ultimately, I am the one responsible for all the things that happen in town, so I will take responsibility to make sure that the things that we can control, we do, and the things that we can't control in terms of the siting council, we make sure that those rules that they've set down are followed. So I will be happy to step up to that. But there are things we can control in terms of side yard setbacks and contractors and dirt on the road, and we will step up for that. And we'll find out through Luann about what's happening with the Tinker House, because I shared the same opinion. But we want to make sure these things are right, so we'll be there standing with you. So, and I have filled out business cards here with my phone number, both my personal cell phone and my business line, and Darlene can hand them out to you. If you'd like that, you can call me anytime if you want me to run up and see a particular situation as it occurs. So if you wouldn't mind doing that. I would tell you all that, but during public delegations, we're precluded from having a conversation with you, because items are not on the agenda, so. Next item then would be the approval of minutes of the meeting of July 17th. This was tabled because we had some incomplete minutes, if you recall.
Move to approve the minutes of the meeting of July 17, 2013 as submitted.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion on these minutes?
Yes.
Ms.
On page 3, approximately 3/4 of the way down the page, the paragraph that begins with John O'Neill, Vice President, I would like to insert, I'm not sure whether Ms. Lang spoke just prior to him or right after, but I would like to have inserted, Ms. Lang, Chair of Historic Properties Commission, also spoke, stating that the commission already has most of the materials in place, knows the procedure, and this would not be difficult to accomplish. And the reason I'm asking to have that inserted is that as we're in the process of trying to get additional grant monies and things, and they are also doing the study, I think it would be important that we have the documentation in our minutes. So that's my suggestion.
I don't know, quite frankly, whether we can insert language like that or not. Ms. Lang, I thought, was still here, but if we could
Just stepped out.
perhaps catch her, Dave. I see your point, but I don't know if we can alter the minutes like that. I mean, you remember that verbatim, going back to July 17th.
I know.
You're much better than I am.
Well, I
Is that-
had it written down for the last time, and
okay.
then we
Okay.
didn't have the meeting. I suggested that we insert your comments, Ms. Lang, from the meeting of the 17th, which were not included. And my recollection is that you spoke either just before Mr. O'Neill or right after. Do you have recollection of that?
I spoke before him.
Just before him. Okay, and so I had made a suggestion. Ms. Lang, Chair of the Historic Properties Commission, also spoke, stating that the commission already has most of the materials in place, knows the procedure, and this would not be difficult to accomplish.
Ms. Collins, do you have any legal opinion or objection for us to insert that into the minutes? Or can we do that based on an amendment to the minutes as?
You can do that. Mrs. Hardy would propose an amendment to the minutes. Do you want me to come up to the microphone?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening. Mrs. Hardy would propose an amendment to the minutes, and you would accept them or reject them as proposed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, is there a?
I can amend my
is
motion
the
to.
seconder and the motion maker okay with the amendment?
Yeah, I can amend
Yep.
my motion to include those
Okay,
notes.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with the amending.
Everybody's here, so that's fine with me.
So then, call for a vote as to the amended minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? Okay. Motion carries, and if you've got that language from Roseanne, you have that written down, perhaps you can share that with her after, and we can get that done.
And I also, I believe I sent that to you in an email prior to our last meeting, when these, shortly after the minutes came out. All right, I have it written down here.
The next item I have is the approval of minutes. Now, I have on the agenda
September 4th.
the approval minutes of September 4th, 2013, but it doesn't call for the approval of the special meeting minutes, September 4th. What?
I think that when they were doing the agenda, they thought they were both.
Okay. So why don't we just go to what's on the agenda, the approval of minutes of the regular meeting of September 4th, 2013.
So moved.
Motion is made,
Second.
second, discussion,
Yes.
Ms. Hardy.
On page 4, Under section 2D, second paragraph. Ms. Hardy suggested to remand this to the Commission of Natural Resources for a recommendation, and it happens that Ms. Hardy is on the commission herself. That should be corrected to read that I am the ex officio, because I can't be on the commission.
Okay.
And on page 7, under section 5, section A, ex officio reports, second report, Ms. Hardy's report, second sentence, also, Ms. Hardy will be serving on the Board of Education. I could only wish.
Oh, my.
Ms. Hardy will be ex officio for the month of September.
Right.
Well, you remember 3 commissioners.
Okay,
I'll amend my motion to
Yeah.
include those corrections.
I say we let them go forward the way they are.
Yeah, so then,
My second is also.
any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? We could take a motion to put the minutes of September, the executive session minutes on September 4th on the agenda if you like and vote for it, or we can just bring them back next time. What do you
Why
prefer?
don't we move to add it so it'll be disposed of?
Ms. Hardy makes the motion. Is there a
Second.
second? Mr. Wilson? All those in favor of the motion to add to the agenda under item 2G?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next item, 2F, the consent calendar.
We're going to vote on that?
It's going to come up next.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar in the amount of $5,592.06.
second.
Made and seconded. Discussion on this? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Next item, new
Go
new
back.
item 1G.
1G.
Motion to accept the minutes of the special meeting of September 4th, 2013.
As submitted.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second?
Ms. Hardy, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone
One-
opposed or abstained?
One abstention.
Mr. Wilson abstains. Okay. Next item under new business. We have a park and recreation update. We're gonna ask Mr. Putnam, who is our outstanding park and rec director, to come up. He's gonna give us a status report on how the beach did, the new Niantic Bay Beach, is that what we're calling it? Formerly the Amtrak Beach? And also give us a report on the special revenue fund. Do you have a copy of this adjusted one for Darlene too? For the
Yes, I
minutes?
do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Putnam.
Okay, just a brief synopsis on the Niantic Bay Beach and Boardwalk. As far as Park and Rec was concerned, we were able to staff it on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and also on holidays. So Monday through Thursday, it was left as an open to anybody type of beach where we had no staff on except for boardwalk attendants. We have received very favorable feedback on the boardwalk and the beach itself. We thought the operation of it this summer was extremely smooth. I was very nervous about that big beach area, but I think our staff did a good job when they were there. And then also the people are very respectful of the facility. We did see a significant increase in revenue over last year. I think a lot of that has to do with the new amenity, the Niantic Beach and Boardwalk. We had revenues exceeding over last year $15,000. So our revenues this year were over $109,000 for beach pass sales, which was, I think, a direct result of that, of the new beach at Cheney Park. In our discussions with the commission, we're gonna bring forward in the budget year to staff that fully. And also, we thought that we lost a significant amount of revenue by not having anybody there Mondays through Thursdays. So that'll be coming forward to you in the budget process as we move forward from the Park and Rec Commission. Again, very positive feedback. The new tractor and beach groomer. We were able to do it 5 days a week there. It took us about 2.5, 3 hours to do that beach. That's a big beach. But again, very favorable feedback from our participants. So open it up to any questions that you have, any concerns that went on this summer that came for you guys.
I have one while you're doing it. I'll just jump in to make sure that the flow continues from you, because you know about this. The puppies that were allowed down there, we did experiment with having dogs being allowed on the beach. I did field a number of personal complaints about having dogs leave their business in areas where humans would interact later. So you and I worked on a plan that was presented, I believe, to the Park and Rec Department, where we created a walkway parallel to the walkway where the dog owners could walk their dog down to the far reaches where a beach would be set aside for just specific dog use, and that would keep it out of the humans. Did that get affected, or is that going to go to next year?
That's going to go to next. We did do part of that in that we put some snow fencing on the far western portion of the beach that would be a designated dog area.
Yeah.
And then we have signage coming. We're working on the signage so that there would be a lane on the back of the beach so that people could walk their dogs down to that designated dog area. I did receive the same complaints you did regarding.
I made sure I forwarded them to you.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. On the other hand, we received a tremendous amount of positive from it, as well as people were pleased that they were able to take their dog to a beach. And so our other 2 beach areas do not allow that to happen. So the commission feels that that far west end of the beach being a designated dog area is a good compromise.
Yeah, I think it is too. I agree. I'm glad that the commission did it, and I thank you for your work on that. I know we do provide baggies for them in a number of places, so that most people are responsible dog owners, but still, that's an important thing. So that was the only thing that I had, and I'll open it up to the board for any of their questions or comments. Mr. Seer.
Nothing of any complaints, except I'm sure most of us heard a couple about dogs, but I heard some very positive ones about that. And spending a lot of time down there on the boardwalk, I think, kudos to Dave and your entire staff. I think that exceeded all expectations for how well it was run, managed, and it was a fantastic resource for the community this year. I'm really excited about what it'll be next year.
Absolutely.
My only comment. Thank you.
Thank you for the report this evening. I may have some questions after I'm not a math major, so after I've absorbed some of the figures, I might have some more questions.
Okay. Yeah.
But one of our concerns was the issue of parking. And were there any days where you had to turn away people because the lot was full?
No, we came close on July 4th. It was the closest day that we came, and it happened when a car left, another was coming, and we were able to work that out. That was the only day where we experienced a full lot. But McCook was full, Hole in the Wall was full. It was July 4th, so we did not. But we did see an up in attendance as the beach opened and word got out. It got busier and busier as the summer went along, but we didn't fill up the parking lot at all.
That's good. Now, in your proposal to increase the coverage for 4 days, the additional 4 days of the week, do you feel that the income that you would generate from that would offset the cost of having that kind of patrol available?
I do, based on now having some history and some concrete numbers in our revenue, that I do believe we'd be able to cover that with the revenues from the beach, yes.
And I was just there last weekend for a little walk, and it was very pleasant in the fall.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's
Thank
absolutely gorgeous, yeah.
Any comments on the beach? I know you still got to do the special revenue fund, so.
I just was curious, numbers. You said it built up over the summer. Do you have an average for the days and the weekends? And of the people who came, how many were people, in-town residents, and how many were from out of town who had been buying
Right.
special passes?
Yeah, we're in the process of
churning
tabulating all those
Okay,
figures
I'd be
now.
interested when you have them ready, Dave,
Yep.
to let us know what they
Yeah,
were.
absolutely. I can tell you that we had an uptick in we do a percentage, so the percentage of revenue that was generated from non-resident passes for our beaches went from 32% to 38%. So I think some of that had to do with the new beach. So, and then we also increased the day pass fee as well. So I think that's probably a pretty good indication where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
Anything, Rob, yet? or-
I just want to say the upgraded equipment is the reason we were able to get done what, and people were enjoying it down there, because if we hadn't done that and made those adjustments in the budget, I don't think it would have worked. So that was a huge step forward for maintaining this down the road.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Special revenue fund?
Great. Yeah, on a yearly basis, I come before the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance to give a report on our special revenue fund that was started July 1st of 2010. Just some things that I like to bring forward to the Board of Selectmen is all of our FICA and Medicare payments from our program employees come out of the special revenue fund. In the past, this used to come out of the general operating budget. This year, that was $12,832 of payments, and over a 2-year period of just about $23,500 of FICA and Medicare payments come out of the special revenue fund. And then all of our credit card merchandising fees are paid out of the special revenue fund, and a 2-year total of almost $3,000 of that used to be picked up out of the general fund is now picked up out of the special revenue fund. It's given us a great amount of flexibility. It's working the way I hoped it would work when we set this fund up. We're able to give out scholarships. So you notice we gave out $4,125 in scholarships, mostly for playground participants and those participants that receive free lunch from the school system. We then give scholarships to as well. So that's taken care of out of the special revenue fund. We had a really good year with it. Our total revenues collected was $311,000, with expenses totaling $296,000. We have a fund balance there from last year of approximately $15,000. So we're very pleased with how that's working. We do have a number of subcategories out of that special revenue fund. Adult programs, youth programs, and our playground program are our 3 core programs. And we had a fund balance of a little over $1,000 in those programs. So we're doing exactly what we were hoping this fund would do. We have a flexibility with it to do fundraising type things. We do Jeffrey's Rainbow Run, which we just had Friday, for the Borges family in Salem. It's our second year of being able to do that. We do a number of road races that benefit the open center at Youth Services, which is also in our special revenue fund, and the open center is free. So to offset those costs, we do the Flanders 5K, and we also recently this year took over sponsorship of the Nyack Bay 10K. So those 2 events help us offset the funds, and we're able to offer a free open center program for those middle school kids after school. Special events, as far as East Lyme Regional Theater is concerned, that's run through our special revenue fund. It's the 4th year that they've done their production. We added a drama camp to that summer thing, and we're hoping to do that on a yearly basis now. And we're really good, I think. We're really good at sports and sports activities, and I think we're lacking in the theater and the arts and drama and that kind of thing. So to have that flexibility and some talented people in town to be able to offer those programs, this fund allows us to do that, and it's a great advantage to our residents. We also have recently been accepted as a passport acceptance agency, and we've taken over that responsibilities from the judge of probate. Used to do that. We do that in-house now. I have 2 staff people that have been trained. I can tell you that to date, revenues are totaling about $1,700 since May. We get $25 per application that comes in for the passports. So it gives us an opportunity to run it through the special revenue fund to put that money back into programming. It's worked out very well for us so far. It's been I think it'll be really helpful to us down the road to be able to do that and offer that service. The senior trips, as